New retirees often celebrate the freedom of waking up without an alarm clock and spending their days doing whatever they please. However, the financial side of this transition can be unsettling. Moving from a regular paycheck to relying on savings or investments can feel uncomfortable, and figuring out exactly how much to withdraw each year is more art than science. While many people are told to expect to spend around 75% to 80% of their working income in retirement, research has shown that the reality can vary widely. Higher earners who save a large portion of their income may need only 60% or less of their previous earnings, while lower earners with lower savings rates may require closer to 90%. These differences highlight how personal circumstances, especially savings rates and income levels, play a major role in determining retirement spending needs. Even with careful planning, predicting your exact income needs can be difficult. Unexpected expenses, particularly healthcare costs, can shift spending patterns dramatically from one year to the next. Still, estimating a realistic target is important for building a solid retirement income plan, even if you know those needs will change over time. A good starting point is to set a realistic baseline for your income. If you're close to retirement and want to maintain a similar lifestyle, using your current salary as a baseline works well. If you're younger, it may be wise to increase that number to account for possible career growth, cost of living adjustments, and inflation. Over the course of a career, salaries often rise, and it's smart to plan for the possibility that you'll want to match a higher income when you retire. From that baseline, subtract your current or expected savings rate. This reflects the fact that the portion of your income you save during your working years isn't used for daily expenses, so you won't need to replace it in retirement. Higher income households often save more, which means they require a smaller percentage of their income to cover living costs once they stop working. For example, if you save 20% of your income now, you might automatically reduce your income replacement target to 80% before even considering lifestyle changes. You should also account for changes in taxes. Once retired, you won't be paying Social Security or Medicare taxes, and you may have more control over your taxable income. In the early years, this can mean lower taxes, especially if you manage withdrawals strategically. However, required minimum distributions later in retirement can increase taxable income, so it's important to plan ahead. Housing is another major factor. If you plan to retire without a mortgage, downsize, or relocate, your housing expenses may decrease significantly. Downsizing not only frees up equity but can also lower property taxes, insurance costs, and maintenance expenses. In some areas, senior homeowners may qualify for reduced property taxes. However, not everyone sees a drop in housing costs. Some retirees choose to stay in their current homes or even buy a second property, which can raise overall expenses. Lifestyle changes should also be considered. Many work-related expenses like commuting, professional clothing, and workday meals may disappear. However, new hobbies, travel, or other leisure activities could offset those savings. Retirement spending patterns vary widely, so it's important to run the numbers rather than assume a drop in costs. One area where expenses are likely to rise is healthcare. Out-of-pocket costs for a 65-year-old retiring today can exceed $170,000 over a lifetime, and this figure doesn't include long-term care. Spending in retirement often follows what's known as the retirement spending smile. Expenses are high early on when retirees travel and pursue activities, dip in the middle years, and then rise again later in life as healthcare costs increase. Without long-term care insurance, these late-life costs can be especially significant. Finally, it's wise to add a cushion for the unexpected. Even with careful planning, unanticipated events like helping adult children financially, major home repairs, or sudden medical expenses can throw off your budget. Including a buffer in your income replacement estimate gives you flexibility to handle these surprises without jeopardizing your financial stability. By working through these steps, setting a realistic income baseline, subtracting savings and tax reductions, adjusting for housing and lifestyle changes, factoring in higher healthcare costs, and adding a safety margin, you can arrive at an income replacement rate tailored to your situation. While it's impossible to predict every detail, this approach provides a clearer, more personal view of your retirement needs, helping you create a plan that can adapt to whatever the future brings.